Hey guys, Molly here and welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can see from the title of this video, I am going to be talking about the top 10 books that I like to get to in 2018. Not 2018, I mean 2019. So yeah, last year when I made my goal for the top 10 books that I wanted to read in the top 10 books that I wanted to get to in 2018, I only completed 2 of those books. I think The Martian and The Unexpected Everything. So, yeah, I only read 2 out of I think it was 10, I think. And yeah, so I have 10 books again that I would like to try to read in 2019. So yeah, a lot of these are first in a series, so, and then one is, the very first one is not first in a series, it's the second one, and then the rest are, I think, series. One of them I'm not too sure about if it's a first one in a series or a standalone. Okay, so yeah, so one of these books is a standalone and then the rest are in series or trilogies. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get started about talking about the top 10 books that I want to read in 2019. So the first book I want to read in 2019 is the second book to a very beloved trilogy on BookTube. It's a sci-fi trilogy, and I read the first one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I read it twice, so once in 2016, and then the second one was in 2017. So yeah. And so this is the second book in the sci-fi trilogy, and that is Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So I really want to read this book in 2019 because I really enjoyed the first one. And yeah, so, and people say this one is probably the best one in the trilogy. So hopefully it lives up to the hype that it brings in BookTube and everything. So yeah, so I really want to read this one because I really enjoyed the first one and I want to know what happens and everything, and I finally think it's time to read it. It was time to read it when I first got it, but hopefully I can make it a priority in 2019 to get to this book. And yeah, so this is the first book I would like to get to in 2019. And the next one is a trilogy, but then it has I don't know if you would call it a spin-off or anything like that, but that one I think is a duology, is the spin-off or something like that. But yeah, so this is a really beloved, another beloved trilogy and all that. So, and then the second part of whatever, I don't really know if it's even called a duology, but you will really honestly probably know what I'm talking about when I mention this book. But yeah, so this one is really hyped, and I've honestly had some doubts in reading this book and starting this book because I'm what if I'm that one person that I don't like this because of the hype, or what if I don't like her writing or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm very hesitant to go into this book because this book is, I like the whole concept of this book and everything, but yeah. But yeah, I read honestly a book kind of like this. It's called The Crown's Game, by not Evelyn Hugo, Evelyn something. I can't remember her last. I think it's Evelyn, her first name. I can't remember her last name, but it's kind of the same concept of this book that I'm about to mention. But anyways, that book is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This trilogy is so beloved and everyone loves it, and I honestly have not heard I haven't heard a negative thing about this book so far. So yeah, so I kind of have good hopes about this book, about going into it and everything, but then I do have my doubts of like, what if I'm not one person who doesn't like Leigh Bardugo's writing or anything like that. I have good feeling that I might, but I don't know. I just have this feeling that I might not like it, that one person who might not like this book or this trilogy or Six of Crows or anything like that. But yeah, so I don't know if Six of Crows is a spin-off or anything like that. I think it's a duology. Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, I think it's a duology. So I don't know if it's a spin-off or anything, but comment down below if it's a spin-off in the comments section below. If you know if it's a spin-off, if you've read Crooked Kingdom or Six of Crows and you've read the Gersha trilogy, let me know in the comments below what you would honestly consider Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Like, is it like a spin-off or is it something else? Let me know in the comment down below. I love to know, so I know when I finish this trilogy, hopefully I can finish this trilogy and go into Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, so I already know. And yeah, so just comment down below what you consider Six of Crows, and yeah, so hopefully I can get to Shadow and Bone in 2019. And the next book I want to get to in 2019 is another very hyped trilogies. The final book is coming out in, I think this year, 2019 actually, I think so. But yeah, so a lot of people love this book, but then people don't like, I don't know. There's a certain character in the second book that like, it's one of the sisters that people are not a huge fan of. But anyways, so I'm like, you know, if they don't like her, but I don't know why they don't like her, so I have to read the book first and to understand why. The majority of the people don't like her in the second book, so I don't know. But yeah, so that book is Karvall by Stephanie Garber. I really want to read this book in 2019 because this whole concept sounds amazing, and I've already read the first two, like the letters in the beginning of the book, and then like the first chapter-ish, and then because I got it originally from the library and then I had to return it and then I never continued it, and then I finally got it from Books A Million for a bargain price, so it was only at $5.97, so it was only $6, so yeah, so I'm like, I have the book now, why not pick it up finally, because I've already read the letters and in the beginning of the book, and then I read like the first chapter. That was loud. Don't know what that was. Ain't trying to die. Yeah, my house has been making weird noises all day, like the air conditioning. I know the air conditioning always makes weird noises. Honestly, what's wrong with it? Who knows? Not me. But yeah, so that was a loud bang. Ain't trying that. But as I was saying, yeah, so I've already read the first letters of this and the first chapter, and also I'm going to start over again since there's only the letters in the first chapter. So, but since I already have this book now and I don't need to get it from the library, yeah, I can try to read this in 2019 because I really want to know what the hype is all about in this book, and the concept is amazing, and I want to know the joy of this book that people like and everything, and I feel like this is going to be like twists and turns when you're reading this, and I honestly cannot wait. So hopefully I can pick this up in 2019. And so the next group of books are not hyped books, I guess, to be technical, like really. So I've just had them on my shelf for a while now, or like I've heard a lot about them and I just really want to read them. So yeah, so the first one, well, the next one technically is not the first one. Okay. I keep want to say the first one is not. Gemina was the first one. Okay, the next one is marked by PC Cass and Kristen Cass. This is a vampire book, and I love vampire books, so this is the perfect book for me. This is a really long series, and this is only the first one. I have the first and second one, so this is a very long series. There's like 15 books or something. I don't know exactly how many books there is. I could Goodreads it, but I gotta film this video. I could probably put a little thing at the bottom telling you how many books there is if I remember. But yeah, so I really want to read this book because it's been on my shelf for a year now, and I'm wanting to read it, but I just haven't been in the right mood for it, I guess. So hopefully in 2019 I can be in the right mood for this book and finally read it. And a lot of people like this series, but there's, I guess, a couple of people who don't. I honestly haven't really heard a lot of negative reviews about this. It's just like majority of the people who have like, they talk about this, they've like grown out of it, or it's like a really long series and they don't really care enough or something like that. So yeah, so it's a long series, so hopefully I will like it and read all the books. If I don't, then I only read how many books I enjoy reading it of the series or anything like that. So yeah, so this is one of the books that I hope to read in 2019. And the next book I hope to read in 2019 is a not hyped book, but it has to deal with witches, and I feel like witches and like fairies and, you know, are like a thing right now, kind of, and like retellings, but this is not a retelling. This just has to do with witches, and yeah. And that book is What the Spell by Brittany Gotelis. So basically this book has to do with witches, and this girl, Brooklyn Sparks, on her 16th birthday, she finds out she's a witch. Well, she doesn't find out she's a witch, but she gets her powers finally. But yeah, so this sounds like a really cool concept, and I honestly can't wait to read this in 2019 because I've had it on my shelf for like about a year now, and I just haven't picked it up, and I don't know why. And I need to pick it up and love it, obviously, because I feel like this is gonna be a good book and I'm gonna enjoy it. So yeah, I don't know, when was this even published, honestly? This was published in 2012. But yeah, so this book is not at all, I've never seen this book on BookTube at all so far, except me, myself, and I talking about it sometimes, but not really sometimes, but like once in a blue moon I talk about this book. But yeah, so this is one of the books I hope to read in 2019. And the next book I want to read in 2019 is a big hunk book. But yeah, so this is not really hyped either, honestly. It's just, I've heard Abigail Haley talking about this book. Like, she had it on her TBR shelf and she read it. I don't know her thoughts on it. I don't remember if she even, well, I'm pretty sure she did talk about her thoughts on it since she did read it, but I just don't remember what her thoughts were on this book, or anything like that. So Abigail Haley and someone else, probably, I've heard 2 people talk about this book, so it's not really widely talked about or anything like that, but this whole concept is so cool, and I can't wait to dive deep into this book and love it. Hopefully I can love it and everything. So after this video, I honestly need to find the reading vlog where Abigail Haley talks about this book. So yeah, but anyways, that book is Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld. And yeah, so I only know that Abigail Haley talked about this book in one time in her reading vlog, but I don't know her opinions about it because I don't remember. It was like a couple of months, like beginning of the year or something. But I don't really remember exactly her thoughts on it, so I don't hear a lot of people talking about this book. So I really want to go into this having good high hopes for it. I have really high hopes for this book and everything. So yeah. So hopefully this book really lives up to what it talks about in the synopsis, because I really like this whole concept. And yeah, so hopefully I can read this book in 2019. And the next book I would like to read in 2019 is this book that I'm about to mention, obviously. But the only people I've ever heard really talking about this book is Prue's project over on her channel, Reagan. So, and Sasha, her and Sasha made, they read this book for their book club 1 month. So yeah, I think, or that was the second book, Imprints, Empress, I think. I could be completely wrong on that, but anyways, that book is a Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. So yeah, I've only heard a couple of people talking about this book, and that Reagan and Sasha love the second one, and I'm pretty sure they love this first one to continue to the second one. So yeah, so this book is not really widely hyped, but apparently this is coming out in a movie one day, someday, who knows, not me. Apparently this Scythe is becoming a movie. Scythe by Neil Shishman, and I'm currently reading it, actually. I want to get to all those books in 2019, finish all those that I'm currently reading, and yeah. So yeah, I really want to get to this book in 2019 and love it, because this whole concept is really cool, and I can't wait to jump into it in 2019 and read it. And the third to last book I have is Parallel by Lauren Miller. Now, this book is not talked about at all on BookTube. This is a book that I've never seen on BookTube before. So I've seen this at Goodwill, and I read the whole concept of this, the whole synopsis of this book. Let me tell you this. Yes, please. Thank you. All up my alley. I need this right now. So hopefully one day, someday, I can read this in 2019 or 2020 or 2021. Who knows these days? Not me. So yeah. Yeah, so this book is not hyped at all. No one has ever talked about this book in the history of life or of existence, or yeah. So in the existence of BookTube, basically. No one has ever talked about this book. I've never seen anyone talk about this book on BookTube ever. So hopefully this book is really good. And yeah, this book was published in 2013. So yeah, so hopefully I can read this book in 2019. And the next book, second to last book, apparently this book was renamed. It was originally The Rain, and now it's called H2O by Virginia Burgeon. I don't know why it got a name change. The Rain is pretty cool, I guess. H2O is pretty cool. But yeah, so it got a name change. I don't know what year it did, but this was published in 2014. So yeah. So this book is honestly, I've heard one person talk about this book, and I can't remember who it was, but this whole concept sounds really cool, and I can't wait to read this in 2019. And yeah, and love it, of course. Hopefully, I want to love all my books, obviously, but there's a couple of books that I didn't really enjoy. But yeah, so hopefully I can read this book in 2019 and enjoy it and share my thoughts on it once I finish it. So yeah. And last and final book that I have, drum roll please. That was a terrible drum roll. I don't play drums or do drums on my leg or floor. drum roll. And that book is Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. That was my face. Okay, thanks. But basically he's the author of Afterworlds, and this book is really loved. This series is loved, and everyone likes it, and yeah, so I honestly can't wait to read this book in 2019. Hopefully I can read it in 2019. Hopefully I can read all these books in 2019. So this time I have the books written down, unlike last time, because I completely forgot about the books that I read in 2018. So yeah. So yeah, this is one of the other books. This is one of the books I want to read in 2019. And so I guess this book series used to be a lot more hyped. And yeah, so hopefully I can join in on the hype and love this book as well, and hopefully read it in 2019. So as you can tell, that was the last book. So yeah, so those are all the books that I want to read in 2019 and everything. So hopefully I can read these in 2019 and love them and adore them, and they can become one of my favorite books of all time, hopefully. And yeah, so those are the books I want to read in 2019 and enjoy and love. So that's honestly it for today's video. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give us a big old thumbs up, and also subscribe down below to see more of me, and if you enjoy my content. And also hit that little bell button right next to the subscribe button to be notified whenever I do post a new video. And also comment down below all the books you want to read in 2019. I love to know as well. And also you can follow all my social media. So they'll be linked down below in the description box if you want to follow me on any of those. I have Instagram, Bookstagram, Goodreads, and Twitter. If you want to follow me on any of those, you can, and that would be amazing. And yeah, so that's it for today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!